What up, everybody? How we all doing this Saturday night? My name's PROTOMAN. If you're unfamiliar, this is the Transformers Slag podcast Saturday night stream. We overview the news over the past week. We talk Transformers. We take some super chats. We talk about stuff we bought and got this week in the world of Transformers. We put over Symbiote Studios and how great their product is. That's what we do here on the Saturday night Transformers Slag live stream. Sorry about being half an hour late. Got to actually do some shopping for once, proper, this week. So I was kind of backed up on stuff. It was a domino effect of little things. My sister came over. Long story short, maybe one day she'll be on the stream. I want one day have my sister on the stream. She was a mild part of the Transformer world back in the 90s. I want to just comment on one thing. I saw Stinkfist. You mentioned that your Amazon order got canceled. Man, that has happened to me so many times with Amazon. I ordered the Minicon mask set of the Galactic Odyssey collection, and I was so hyped about it. I was so excited because it had like the Kenner mask designs put on Micromasters. I love Micromasters. I loved Mask growing up, and it was just this marriage of two things, and I was so excited, and they canceled it on me. And it's like, you pre-order with them, and you wait all these months, and then they cancel on you, and I was so angry, and I told them off. I literally went on Twitter, and I said, you know what, F you, Amazon, and, well, it is what it is. A friend of mine in the States ended up hooking me up in the end because they managed to get their order in. But, I mean, I feel for you, man. I feel the same way. Like, Amazon has just not been cool with a lot of their cancellations and stuff. So I feel for you, brother. But, again, we are here today to talk Transformers. We're going to go through some of the news. It wasn't a too busy news week this week. Again, the general theme, if you notice the title at the bottom, is a license to transform. Seems that the whole week this week has been just the different licenses that Transformers has been attached to with all these different brands. Obviously, Hasbro right now probably figures, well, you know what? We live in a crazy world right now. The factories are having a hard time. If we have the license spread out, not just Transformers, but their G.I. Joe, their Power Rangers, Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast, all that stuff. If we spread out our license everywhere and other people pay us money, it could be their problem. They'll figure out how they manufacture the product, and it'll still look good on the old consumer report when the time comes for investors. So we're going to go through pretty much a little bit of stuff, this and that. But the first thing I want to talk about starting this is something I talked about on my Twitter, and I talked about it also I think like the beginning of this week on the channel, and it's that of Unicron, the HasLab Unicron, and the discovery that if you take off all the shell pieces, you could kind of make a whole planet in itself. And as someone who has one of these ordered and was pretty much dealing with the idea of how am I going to display this thing, now it looks like I'm going to now I don't have a choice. I'm going to have both of them displayed. So it's kind of cool. I'm going to be able to have the robot mode, and I'm going to be able to have the planet mode. Yeah, sure, you lose the whole idea of the transformation and stuff. But from a display kind of purpose, I really dig this. I'll be able to have the biggest Transformer officially ever made, and I'm going to be able to have the planet mode that's going to look awesome. The only thing that sucks is you're going to have to really decide where those planet rings go, how they're going to go. I'm hoping a third-party company makes a stand that'll be compatible with that planet mode, because obviously the stand hitch is part of the Unicron robot mode body, and it'll be absent. So hopefully, hey, third-party company, let me just get in shot here. Hey, third-party company, how about you make a set of extra rings that could go on this Unicron, so I could have the rings on my robot modes, like so he has his wing rings, I guess we'll call it. Make an extra set of rings, and make a stand so this thing could stand, and then I'll have both my robot mode and my planet mode both on display, taking up as much space as a washer and dryer, and everything will be awesome. And if you guys are still interested in picking this thing up, I know that, and I'm totally not sponsored by these guys, just because I want to point you guys in the right direction. if you want to pick one up. I think Robot Kingdom still has copies of this. They managed to get some extra units of it for, I want to say, 1,500, which is about a $500 markup, really, at the end of the day, in a lot of ways. I mean, I paid 1,000 Canadian when it was all said and done, including shipping. So, I mean, it is a markup, but it's like the lesser of many evils, because eBay's at like 2,000, 2,500 plus shipping. So, just want to cover that quickly. Not much really else to say about that. I just think that's really cool. That's really cool that now I can have them both on display. Let's see. Next we have, talking of stuff that kind of makes people angry in a lot of ways, because some people aren't a fan of it. Let's talk Funko Pop. Okay, so Emerald City Comic Con, they're going to be having a Funko Pop exclusive. It's going to be Grimlock. I'm kind of surprised they didn't go with Dino Mode Grimlock, but it is what it is. And the initial thought was this was going to be an Emerald City Comic Con exclusive. There was a lot of complaints and people, bashing pretty much the convention, going like, oh, that's not fair, But they recently announced, and I kind of did a little bit of an update on one of my segments, that this will also be a GameStop exclusive, and it will be a EB Games exclusive for the Canadian region. So if you do want to get your Funko Pop Grimlock, if you must have him at non-scalper prices, check out EB Games, check out GameStop, depending on what region you're in, and you'll be able to pick it up. Yay on that for people who like Funko. Not really me, but the only Funko I kind of was looking at was that Jetfire one. So that's one license. Let's talk another license. So Icon Heroes also got the Transformer license and the G.I. Joe license and the Power Ranger license. And they just gave this teaser image here. What's going on here? Just this little corner image of a Soundwave. We don't know what it is. Judging historically what Icon Heroes has done in the past, they do bobbleheads, they do articulated pins, and when I say articulated pins, like pins that have like little movable pieces on them. They do statues, like 1x6 scale, 1x12 scale statues and stuff, and not much else really. So they tried the action figure game with Karate Kid. It kind of was lukewarm success with them. So chances are, I'm going to take a guess here, this is probably a statue of Soundwave, maybe a 6-inch statue, maybe a 12-inch statue, something of the low-end statues, kind of like similar to what I believe it's Jazzware's doing right now with Transformers. There's Zootenki Transformer statues, if anyone saw those in Target recently. There's no statue companies right now really doing anything Transformers outside of, let's say, 3A. So, might be a market to fill. Might be. I don't know. Starting with Soundwave, that's one way to go about it. Let's talk about another license. Diamond. Diamond is doing some Mini-Mates. For people who aren't familiar what Mini-Mates are, they were a brand that started all the way back in 2002. And it was kind of, how do I put it? Like a higher end kind of Lego in a lot of ways. I feel that the quality is better. There's more of a customized kind of situation with the arms, legs, and everything. I've always loved Mini-Mates. I had a bunch of the Marvel ones back in the day. I still have my Wolverine and my Spider-Man. They would always do them in little 2-packs. And because they were done in 2-packs, they were really clever. They'd always put like a top-tier character with a secondary character that wouldn't sell as well. But it would be a good excuse to be able to have those secondary characters. Like you'll have like a Wolverine with a Spider-Man who's has like the mask pulled up a little bit. So you could do some kind of repaints and stuff like that. I dig what they do. So them doing Transformer ones in the face of Creo kind of not really having any kind of a future. Creo still is floating with Oxford and the Korean company. There still is kind of new Creo products still showing up in the Universal Studios, the Ride gift shops. But when I mean new, I mean repackaged new product, but it's still old product, really. New packaging, same product, loser, as Megatron would say. But at the end of the day, this is really something that people should be very excited about. I love Mini-Mates. I love their stuff. It's always been high quality. And if they're smart, they're going to do it the same way that they used to do all their other brands. They'll do 2-packs. That way you could have like a top tier character like Optimus Prime, and then you could settle them with a secondary character might not sell as well, and as a result, when you put a secondary character that doesn't sell as well, you're guaranteed that you won't have like shelf warmers or stuff that don't sell well, or something that's the dud of a pack. So obviously that's why we don't have Megatron here. Chances are they're probably going to put, Optimus Prime with maybe Shockwave and maybe Starscream with Bumblebee. That way they're guaranteed that all 4 will sell very well. And then who knows, maybe down the line you have Grimlock with, I don't know, Grimlock with Thundercracker, Megatron with Sunstreaker. Just some way that everything sells very well. But I'm excited about this. This is really cool. Mini-Mates has always been top-tier quality stuff. And, yeah. If you want to get more history on Mini-Mates, watch my individual segment about these that I did a couple days ago. I talk about how, it also involves Hasbro and licensing back in the day with the Battle Beasts line. I go a little bit deep into what happened with Mini-Mates and Hasbro in the past. So, just a little bit of that. Speaking of yet again another license, let's talk about Super 7 and their absolutely insane news drop that they did. So we knew about their Ultimates line a while back, about how they were going to be doing Ghost of Starscream, G1 Optimus Prime, Bombshell based off of the UK Action Master, and Bonsaitron, again, based off of, he started as an Action Master. And these are articulated figures with a whole bunch of accessories, based again in their Ultimates kind of style, much like what they're doing with their Ninja Turtle Ultimates line and their Thundercats Ultimates line. And people were intrigued. I was intrigued. And I was kind of curious where they were going to go, where was the next direction they were going to go with this? Especially considering that they opened up that first wave with, Optimus Prime, not unexpected, but Starscream going with ghost colors. Okay, maybe they'll do basic colors later. Bonsaitron, Bombshell, okay, they're doing the Action Master thing just because it doesn't transform. That's cool. But man, Wave 2 and 3, talk about a lot of unexpected stuff. G1 Megatron, okay, not surprised by that. G1 Grimlock Dino Mode, 200% not surprised by that. But they did Bludgeon. Now you got me. Now you got my attention. They got Bludgeon. Are they going to do the Pretender shell? Are they going to do the inner robot? I think it's going to be the Pretender shell. Is it going to be super accurate to how it looked in the Marvel books? I'm down. I love those Marvel books, especially that era of Simon Furman Marvel books. That issue, 63 to 80. I'm down for that. Tracks, maybe not so much, but you know what's the funny thing? I could see that still working. Because it's Tracks. You could give the extra accessories. I made a mistake on one of the streams. I don't know. On the segment, I called Raul Miguel for some reason. I have no idea where my brain was going there. But he could come with Raul. He could come with a mini blaster. He could come with some missiles or something. It is what it is. But Tracks. Then when you get to the Wave 3 that they have planned for fall of 2021, and then it gets really off the rails. Tarn. Wow. Okay. Now you got my attention. Maybe multiple different masks, the face under the face, some speakers on his back, all kinds of little... I don't want to talk too much about Tarn because it could be spoilers for some people. G2 Megatron, same thing. We could give him a little Cobra Commander figure that he could hold in his hand, much like I show. If you look at the bottom of the segment here, you can see the little iconic cover from G.I. Joe Snake Eyes. I believe that's issue number 153 or 163. And then you got the Alligator Con, which is pretty much the alligator parts Optimus Prime craziness from back in the day, from City of Steel Season 2 episode of G1. And Wreck-Gar. He's probably going to come with multiple heads. You could army build him, make him a whole bunch of different Junkions, come with a little television he could put in his chest because he talked TV. Who knows? Again, super surprised by all of this. Very surprised by all of this, but... I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued. Super 7 makes some great stuff. I love their stuff. I'm curious what else they're going to make. Next up, what do we got next? We got Weibo Hasbro China announced that they're going to be revealing the next MPM movie masterpiece on February 25th, 1900 hours and 30 minutes China time. And there's rumors, could be that leaked Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime that we saw online a few days ago. Could be that. We don't know. Nothing is confirmed yet. Again, I translated the Chinese here. It just says movie masterpiece. So we will find out soon enough. And hopefully it'll be something cool. We'll report it when the time comes. Also, a reminder, guys, next week we're going to have the next issue of the Beast Wars comic book. So please be sure to go to your local comic book stores and ask them to pick up the Beast Wars comic book. It is an incredible job being done by Josh Burcham and the crew. Very good book. The first issue, if you have not picked it up, is a double issue, which I didn't even expect when I picked it up. Nice thick book with interviews, extra art, all kinds of cool stuff. So that's why when you're going to see that $5.99 price tag on the first issue, that's the main reason for it. Issues, I'm assuming issues 2 and 3 and so on onward are going to be the single issues because they have that $3.99 price tag on it. But really awesome stuff. Guys, go out of your way, pick up that book. Really cool stuff. Josh, you're doing an amazing job. Speaking of Beast Wars, I want to give a shout out to one of my listeners. Jason W. hooked me up last week with a whole bunch of Kingdom product, looking really, really good. And I slowly have been, if anyone who's been following my Twitter recently, I've slowly been opening all of this Kingdom product and kind of giving little reviews and this and that and my opinion of some of the different things, taking some nice little photo shoots. I also posted them on my Instagram. But when I was messing with Cheetor, and the more that I messed with Cheetor, the more I was going like, man, I think the tooling in this Cheetor is planned to just be a heavy retool repaint into the Transmetal Cheetor at some point. I think that the skeleton and the engineering of what's going on here is planned down the line for that of the Transmetal. I could totally be wrong, but that's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm feeling messing with this thing. And considering that we have the Netflix repaint coming, we have a obvious Shadow Panther repaint coming, I feel like this is going to be a mold that's going to see a lot of action in the future. And I'm telling you, man, I just see it happening. I just see it happening 100%. And anyone who's messed with it starts to make sense why they went with the mace. It really does. It really, really does. I'm going to swig of water here. But otherwise, I like it a lot. There are a lot of really good figures. That Warpath is really good. Again, thank you, Jason W., for sending me a surprise in the mail of a ton of product. That's really cool of you, brother. That's really cool of you. Let's just jump into a moment to, once again, put over the sponsor, Symbiote Studios, the ones who hook us up with our shirts. Nice little, I'm in a Decepticon mood today. Soundwave, our shirts, our plush. Let me get... Bumblebee over here. Always have Bumblebee nearby. And of course, our pins, everything from symbiotestudios.com. Be sure to check them out. They are currently almost to the end of capacity of Wave 1 of their plush. So Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, Soundwave, and Megatron. Wave 2 is coming soon. So get ready for that. Going to get yourself a Grimlock and a Starscream. And then who knows what the future will bring for Wave 3 and 4 onward. This is the first time we've had an ongoing plush line of Transformers. Pretty hype stuff. Check it out, symbiotestudios.com. Also check out their t-shirts. They have nice comfy t-shirts. I like them. I like them a lot. I like them a lot. And the last thing to talk about before we begin our super chats, I'd like to give a shout out to another listener that recently sent me in the mail a surprise. So shout out to Michael Falco. This showed up at the Transformer Slag podcast office unexpectedly. I guess Michael found out that I didn't have any of the Netflix stuff here in Quebec, and he hooked me up with a Elita 1. So I'm going to kind of do the same thing like I did with Jason W. and all of his stuff. When I do get around to opening her, I'm going to do a nice little photo shoot of all the different Elita 1 product that has existed throughout the years, including some customs I have. I have a few customs. So again, thank you, Michael Falco, for the hookup. That's really, really cool of you, brother. You know, didn't expect that. Getting a lot of weird stuff in the mail, but it's awesome that the fans are doing that. That's really cool of them. That's really, really, really cool. So let's open it up to super chat questions, and we'll just chill the rest of the night and take it from there. Essentially, there's a lot of stuff to talk about otherwise, but it's been a pretty quiet week in general, though, for Transformers. I'm surprised that we haven't had any kind of like, I guess, announcement from Hasbro. But again, it seems like this whole week was nothing but licensing. Really, at the end of the day, we do have, again, what China is going to be probably announcing from the movie Masterpiece, but that really is the Chinese region. And I feel like just the movies in general, it's just mostly for the Chinese market, and anything we get really is secondary at the end of the day. Okay, so we got our first question here. Hey, Proto, who from Transformers RID 2.0 would I love to see updated? I've said this a lot of times, man. The JRX team, the train bots, I forget what I call them J4, J5, and J7. That was their Japanese name from Car Robots. I believe it was Rail Racer, Midnight Express, Rail Spike, and I don't remember what their dub names were, but essentially, like, JRX, I want those guys. Give them an update. They'll be, you know what the only problem with that is that they'd have to be a box set because their individual modes of bullet trains. Number one, bullet trains are not really that popular or a thing in the Western market as opposed to the Japanese market, so it's kind of already difficult from a cultural standpoint. Number two, it's three different bots that all look exactly the same in alt mode, more or less. It's three different kind of bullet trains that have three different kind of color schemes. So it's something that it would have to be a box set. But if it is a box set, it'd be awesome. I'd love to see those guys get done right. And I wouldn't want them to be done into, like, let's say, steam engines or different locomotives, because it really ruins the spirit of what JRX team was and that whole Japanese connection. But the flip side of it is, if I wanted bullet train Transformers, we already have that Shike Leon line right now, and I have the DVDs over there from Takara Tomy. So it's one of those things that if I wanted that, Takara's already making new bullet train Transformer product right now. So, but I'd love to see those characters updated just because they were really cool. And everyone else in the show, look, Fire Convoy is awesome. He was one of the greatest Optimus Prime toys ever made. But at the end of the day, it's something that, the way I see it is, that's something that could be done at any time. I could really see that being done at any time, in all honesty. Hey, Proto, what would you like to see after Kingdom? I actually did a segment about that very recently. What I would like to see is very different than what makes sense from a business standpoint. And I guess maybe that would be what deviates the question from what I did before with the segment, the original question. What I would like, in all honesty, if you said, like, hey, you could put whatever you want and don't worry about the business side of it and how it'll make money or anything, I would like to see Master Force stuff. I'd like to see Pretender shells. I'd like to see Power Masters. I'd like to see, God Jinrai and maybe revisit, some of those Headmaster Jr. characters. But I know that it wouldn't sell well. It's a very niche market kind of stuff. So what I would want is very different than what I feel would actually work for the market. What would work for the market? More Beast Wars and going into Unicron Trilogy. That's probably the smart direction. While, of course, look, even though I'm saying going into the Unicron Trilogy, still sprinkling in some of that G1 to still satiate the G1 collectors and stuff. But at the end of the day, that's the way I see it, kind of. What the Transformer G1 timeline? Beta Whopper, I assume you're asking what is the Transformers G1 timeline. There's technically a bunch of them. The one that I like to swear by, that's my favorite timeline, even though I love the Marvel comics, my favorite G1 timeline is the Japanese timeline of the animated series. So Generation 1, Seasons 1 and 2, the 86 movie. Then they also had, before the 86 movie, and in between that of Season 2, you obviously had the Scramble City OVA. They did the Scramble City OVA 2 thing, which is kind of not canon. It was based with toys. Then you have Transformers 2010, aka Season 3 of Generation 1. Then you have the Headmasters cartoon, the Master Force cartoon, the Zone cartoon, the Victory cartoon, the Zone cartoon. Then you have the story pages of Return of Star Convoy, Operation Combination. Then it goes into the G2 exclusive kind of stuff too, and they had manga pages of that. Then going into Beast Wars 2nd, Beast Wars Neo, Beast Wars Returns, also known as Beast Machines. You throw in there Car Robots fits in somewhere in there in the year 2000 with also some manga stories like the Battlestar mangas. There's a lot of stuff. But that's my favorite continuity. Kissplay falls in there too, actually, when you really think about it. But I love the Japanese way that they do things. There's a lot more fan wank. There's a lot more filling the plot holes. I always dug it more that way. We got a awesome super chat question from Downright Superb. Once again, thank you for the super chat, Downright Superb. You are always super supportive of the coolness that goes on with the Transformer Slag podcast. What's with Beast Wars' name? Was Dinobot always that name because he somehow idolizes the dumb, goofy brutes when he grew up with Cybertron? You know what? Beast Wars has a very interesting history when it comes to its naming conventions. Even the name Beast Wars. I think I talked about this in a segment a while back. At the time, within Kenner, they were doing a Terminator 2 line called Future Wars. And they were just like, wow, that, Terminator Future Wars. That sounded cool to them. So one of the developers of Beast Wars were just like, hey, Transformers Beast Wars. Like, it just kind of worked. And through that development, that's how it ended up with that name. Dinobot. Dinobot was just them with trademarks. They're just going, hey, we got to keep that trademark of the Dinobots. There was another character called Insecticon, and it had nothing to do with the faction. That was just the name of the character. There was a character called Insecticon. That opening wave. I wish I had it. You could see the card back is all the way back there. But that opening wave of figures, you had characters named Scorponok. You had characters named Polar Claw, which was a new trademark at the time. Rhinox was a new trademark. You have Iguanus. Iguanus was an old Pretender trademark. So it was really just keeping trademarks at the time, and then when things really started going well, they kind of forgot about the trademarks temporarily. Then Machine Wars kind of came in to kind of smooth that out and keep the Optimus Primes and the Starscreams and the Thundercrackers and the Skywarps and the Mirages and stuff like that. Obviously, Prowl would get a Beast Wars toy, so the Prowl and Machine Wars didn't really matter. But that's primary. That's really how they ended up with their names. It's funny. Even the name Maximals, they were originally they were going to call it maybe Manimals. They were going to call it all kinds of different names because there was a G.I. Joe subline that had the Manimals or something. And then one of the developers at Kenner was walking back to his car and he saw the Nissan Maxima. And he's just like, Maxima, Maximals, bam, maximize. On the computer, you have minimize and maximize. It all just fell together like that. It's funny how those stories work, It's funny how those stories work. Prime Time, one of our YouTube members, wants to know, do you think we will get new Turbo Masters like Boss? He's one of my top 5. I don't think we'll see a name like Boss, probably because he's so, that name is so simple. And they want to own what they trademark and stuff like that. Maybe we'll see Boss. Maybe he'll get an homage, but I don't think he'll have the name Boss. I think it's kind of like they did a Bakon exclusive based off of the character of Iron Fist from the UK toys, and they called it Fistatron just because they couldn't get Iron Fist, mostly because of also a Marvel trademark and stuff like that. So I think something like Boss, he could get an homage in the future. You might get one of the, let's say, Combiner Wars molds, or maybe one of the Siege molds, or even that of Earthrise repainted into Boss, but they'll have to give him a different name. They'll have to give him something. But when you see the colors, you'll know it's Boss. But will that happen? More of a Generation Selects, if anything. There's only so many limited slots that a deluxe could be, and that's where Boss, I would imagine, would be a deluxe. So it is what it is, unfortunately. It is what it is. Let's see where we at here. I'm just going to grab a question at random. Hey, Proto, what is your least favorite TF series or continuity? Probably let's put it this way. I don't want to rag on stuff like Rescue Bots or Rescue Bots Academy or the Go 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 Bot series, because that's clearly preschool market. So I'm not going to pick on them. That's clearly not made for someone like me. But I'll definitely lean on something like, and it's not that I hate it, but I've really was disappointed in the Robots in Disguise 2015 series. I was, when you're coming off of Transformers Prime, I really felt like they took the air out of the balloon in a lot of ways with that series. There was a lot of unique designs. I really loved what they did with the Decepticons. It was very Mega Man X Maverick, animal kind of designs. A lot of unique trademarks. A lot of unique trademarks that probably never saw the life of day ever again. A lot of unique character designs, very cool. I bought a bunch of the toys. I thought Strong Arm was a unique new female character, very different from kind of the grain of what we were used to female characters in Transformers. But the overall kind of series was kind of stale, unfortunately. And but again, it's not that I hate it. It's just that it's kind of my least favorite. Like if there was one Transformer series I would not want to have to rewatch again, it would probably be that one. I mean, at the same time, those Netflix ones are pretty boring too. But I mean, I need more time with those Netflix ones to see how they age with me. Where it's been 5 years with the 2015 Robots in the Sky series, and I still kind of hold the same feelings about the toy line in relation to the series. Hell, they even had Krios. They had a really good push. With that Combiner Force stuff and everything. I just wasn't feeling it. Just wasn't feeling it. Continuity? I don't know. What's a boring continuity? There's a lot of different continuities with Transformers. I don't know. I can't really pick one with that. Because, there's like a really, let's go with like a weird, like UK continuity only stuff. Like the Juska Diacron 1985, 1986. No, I think it was 1984 and 1985 imports of stuff. I don't know. We got 2 super chats. We'll tackle those right away. 2 super. We got one from Stinkfist69. Giggity. Stinkfist69 says, I just sent a question mark above. That is your thoughts. Thanks, Protoman. Oh, sorry. What was the question, though, Stinkfist? Did I miss something? Stinkfist? Oh, man. What did I miss? Stinkfist, just ask it again without the super chat. I'll see your name. In-universe reason, was Cheetor originally Speedor? I don't know. It's funny? Many years ago, when Beast Wars first came out, there was so much speculation that some of the characters were like reformatted version of previous Transformer characters. And people were going like, so Optimus Primal is Optimus Prime. They were saying that Rat Trap was Cliff Jumper. Rhinox was either Springer, or he was, I remember people were saying Springer because of the mohawk and the green, or he was Wheeljack. People were saying how Cheetor was Hot Rod because he was impulsive and would get in trouble and stuff. And then they would look on the Predacon side, and it's like, oh, Tarantulas is Tarantulas is Soundwave, except he doesn't have his voice chip, and there was all kinds of weird speculation stuff. And Scorponok was Shockwave. It was very bizarre, very, very bizarre. Cheetor is just his own thing, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna probably find out the original names of those characters maybe at some point in a new Beast Wars comic book by IDW. We already learned about Beast Wars Megatron's real name before he took the name Megatron. Maybe we'll learn more about that. Maybe not. Maybe we will. But definitely pick up those books. Plug. I think they're great books. Check them out. But thank you for the question. Downright superb. Stinkfist, do you have your question, brother? Where's your question at? Send the question, brother. I will answer it. Where are we at? I know I missed a whole bunch. Guys, always ask the questions again if I missed them, please, because everything gets pushed down. Hey, Proto, what is the possibility of updated versions of the Insecticons? Deluxe or original, my friend? Deluxe or original? I would love to see the Deluxe Insecticons get an update. I'm looking over. The closest we ever got was, I think it was Barrage. Not Barrage. Was it Barrage? I think it was Barrage. One of the characters got turned into a little micro figure. I'd love to see more of the deluxe ones, but I guarantee for sure the original 3 Insecticons, you're going to see them get done again. Bombshell, Shrapnel, and Kickback, you're going to see something. They always keep doing it. Here we go. Stinkfist69 asked, on BBTS, there is a third-party Warbitron W combiner of 5 for 150, originally 400. Should I get it? Well, let's put it this way. Number one, how much do you love combiners? I'll say that. Number 2, how much do you love third-party combiners? Number 3, how much do you love third-party combiners of Bruticus? Because I believe that's what Warbatron was. It was the Bruticus one. It is a lot of savings, but at the end of the day, do you really want... I mean, me personally, I think that's a lot of savings. For $150, you do get a lot of stuff. But I don't know. I'm kind of a bad person to ask when it comes to third party, because if an official version of it exists, and I feel that Hasbro at some point will revisit those things, I don't want to then put all the eggs in the third party basket. Like, I picked up the third party giant Pretender shells of Dino King. Like, I wish I could show it to you guys. Like, they're massive Pretender shells of the Dino King members. I bought those because I honestly felt Hasbro and Takara would never do those. And I bought those, God, when did I buy those? In like 2012? And it's been 8 years and there's still no sign of it. So I think I'm just going to, keep with those ones. But something like Warbatron, I don't know. It's just, it really is if you're feeling it, man. If you're feeling it. Look, there's third-party hot rod stuff that I've skipped out on just because I just feel that some of it just is not necessary for me to purchase. But then when you get like the third-party Super Mario Brothers, where it was like Mario and Luigi as Transformers, which were TFCon exclusives, I knew for a fact Nintendo would never play ball with Hasbro with that kind of stuff and do that kind of license. So that was stuff that I bought for sure. What's up, Jason? You missed. I was just giving you a big shout out before. But yeah, I would definitely just kind of mill over it. How much do you love Combaticons? I think that's kind of the first question more than anything. Are you saving a lot of money? Totally. That's a ton of savings. I just hope BBTS is friendly with the shipping, because that's going to be a lot of stuff to send you. A lot of stuff to send you. But thank you for the super chat question. Stinkfist69. Love saying your name. Hey, Proto, would you like an update of Skybite repainted as Cybershark? I am surprised. When they did that Generations Skybite mold, like when they did that a while back, I was shocked that they didn't because think about that mold, right? Like, what did they really do with it afterwards? They didn't do much. I'm surprised they didn't take that and just went with that, slightly less interesting Transmetal 2 Skybite colors. I'm surprised they didn't do that. I love Skybite. I love Cybershark even more, personally. I think Cybershark has always been a cool character, and I love his original Hammerhead version. I always felt there was more of a story to tell with that character. I almost felt like he was Depth Charge before there was Depth Charge in a lot of ways. And, I'd love more of that character. So if there's a way to have a Skybite character and then get a Cybershark repaint out of it, bring it on, baby. Bring it on. Let's see. Next question. Do you like the G1 Insecticons big, like deviations, or small, like the odds we get of them as a Voyager? I would personally, if you would do Insecticons and if you care about scale, they have to be something in that more larger Scout, smaller deluxe price point. I look at it like, how we're seeing our mini bots right now through Kingdom. We have our mini bots in Kingdom and their deluxe price point. So give me some like smaller deluxes of the Insecticons. Give them a little more articulation. Give them a little more accessories, and people will dig it. People will be happy with that, and I'm sure they'll like it a lot. Hey Proto, would you consider cassette combiners like Beast Box on the list of things Hasbro isn't likely to revisit? I could see them revisiting it one day. I could see them doing it one day, especially cassettes, because anything that's like a small price point, they're always going to keep that in their back pocket because they always need to make small price point stuff. Small price point stuff costs them less money to make. They're more repaint potential. They're more popular with retailers because you can put more on the peg. And cassettes are something that's more possible. It's the bigger stuff that always is the stuff that's almost more difficult. The Devastators, the Combiners, the everyone asking for Tidal Wave from Armada. That's the stuff that's more difficult. Small stuff like cassettes, combining cassettes. Look, we even got like the small dual cons and stuff like that. They lean more on that stuff. So I could see it happening, brother. We got a super chat from Horned Owl. Thank you, Horned Owl, for the super chat question. If Hasbro had a Build-A-Figure Megatron that transforms into his gun mode or something close, do you think we could have to split them up? Yeah, well, you know what? You're pretty much preaching to the choir. That's how I honestly felt. That's one of the ways you could get away with it. In the same way with how they got away with Shockwave. Shockwave is a purple laser gun, and they had to like flip him upside down and say he's like some kind of weird shuttle mode or like, aircraft carrier mode. They'll have to do something similar too. They'll have to do something where Megatron is a whole bunch of different pieces, and they'll just not advertise that he combines into a gun. Because that way, if people put him together and he kind of looks like a gun, well, that's the fault of the consumer. That's not the fault of Hasbro. I don't know how they're going to be able to do that, because historically, if they get taken to court, historically Megatron has looked like that at some point in toy form. So people are they're gonna see through the BS. Let's put it that way. But it would be the only way that could kind of get away with it. Yeah, submarine mode, whatever it was called there. Same thing. They did the same thing with Six Shot. They turned his gun mode upside down. They called it like some kind of weird mode too. Anyways, it's funny. Six Shot and Shockwave, they were brothers in the Energon version, and those were the two characters that had the gun conspiracy. Anyways, it's kind of funny. I just thought about that just now. Very weird, but thank you, Horned Owl. I mean, look, that's a tough one. Everyone wants to have their perfect G1 Megatron, but outside of Japan, those gun laws are just going to make it so difficult. Look, literally, they did a water squirt in Japan, a high-end water gun that turns into G1 Megatron. They released that there. I did a segment about it a couple of months ago, and it shows really how you could have a water gun. Kids could run around with a water gun that squirts water that looks like a Walter P38 with no orange tip in Japan, but not in the United States and Canada. And I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing. I'm just saying it is a thing that we have to consider. So it is going to always be a thing. But thank you for the super chat question, Horned Owl. Where are we at here? Proto, do you think they will release you other things besides G1? If what you mean by that is if Generations is going to do stuff outside of G1, oh, for sure. For sure. Generation 1 could only go back to the well so many times. You look at Kingdom. Kingdom is finding success. Kingdom is selling very well. People are happy about it. 90s kids that grew up on Beast Wars, they're going, oh, damn, I don't buy Transformers, but I'm getting this Optimus Primal because as a kid, I loved that toy from Kenner. So that's the kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff that sooner or later you have that rollover of audience, and then you're going to have the same thing. You have the kids that grew up on Beast Machines, the kids that grew up on Robots in the Skies, the kids that grew up on the Unicron trilogy, that have fond memories of that, and they're going to want to own a Hot Shot. They're going to want to own a Red Alert. They're going to want to own, a Perceptor, the Micromass, the Minicon Combiner team, of a High Wire, Sure Shock, and Grindor. Always got to tap into the internal wiki of my brain here once in a while. We'll see. They're always going to do stuff. G1 is always going to be present. It's the foundation of Transformers. It's kind of like a Star Wars toy line. You're going to have a Star Wars toy line. It's going to talk about the new stuff and the new movies and the new comics, but they're always going to throw you a Luke Skywalker, an old Stormtrooper, or a Darth Vader figure just to keep the satiation of those who are old school fans. You can't get away from it. But thank you for the question. Hey, Proto, what is the one obscure character you would want an update that hasn't received one yet? See, there's what I want, but what I want won't sell well. What I love, personally, usually would not sell well, so that's why I always have a very different opinion of that. But what would I want? I want Road King. Road King, a.k.a. Slapdash, the Power Master. I want Master Force Road King get an update. I want Nitro Convoy, the Japanese version, Nitro Convoy from Galaxy Force, Transformers Galaxy Force, get an update. Those are my top two. And then maybe Minerva. But I would not recommend that for business, because they would not sell well. But those are my two for sure. Those are some of my favorite characters of all time. So it's just obscure stuff, really. Elf Bleeds 57 says, I'm that guy, didn't buy a Transformer until Kingdom touched Beast Wars. Well, there you go. Elfbleed 57, who, by the way, is one of my YouTube members. That's why he has that cool little jazz logo next to his name. He's one of those examples. There is people that were not interested in the Transformer brand. They played with Beast Wars when they were kids in the late 90s. Then the Pokemon boom probably. I don't know your personal story, Elfbleed, but by 1999, 2000, the Pokemon boom happened, and everyone shifted to that stuff and focused on that. Then the anime boom of 2001 because of Pokemon happened, and people were focusing on Dragon Ball and other stuff and Yu-Gi-Oh! And stuff. And Transformers got left behind from the mainstream, from Beast Wars. Sure, Armada and Energon and everything was kicking during that, half decade. But at the end of the day, kids, most mainstream kids, were elsewhere. They were playing video games. They were in a whole other world. And they left the Transformer brand. Michael Bay movie comes. That stuff isn't Beast Wars. That's G1 stuff. Maybe they were like, it's not even that appealing to them. They were watching Marvel movies. They were watching whatever. They were watching anime. Then Kingdom comes and goes, hey, remember your childhood? Remember 1996, 1997? And then they go into a Walmart. They pick up Optimus Primal. They pick up Cheetor. They pick up Black Arachnia. They pick up Megatron. They pick up Rat Trap. They pick up their childhood. And then it's sitting in a bag on the seat of their car, driving home. Nostalgia, and Hasbro made the bucks. And before you know it, there's a Dinobot comic book that you're buying. I'm going to always plug it. I don't know why. There's a comic book to buy. That's the market. I have said this many times, and this is free, literally free advice to any company. Your demographic that spends the most money freely with no single guilt, ages 25 to 30. Because they just finished school, they have their first job, whatever that job is, but they have their first job, but they still live with their parents. That means that they're getting this nice fat paycheck, but that fat paycheck doesn't have to worry about rent, doesn't have to worry about paying for maybe even internet or heating or food. So they get, even if they work a minimum wage job and they work 40 hours a week and they only make I don't know what, minimum wage is different everywhere. I apologize but let's say it's $500 after 2 weeks, which is still on the low end. But if you made $500 after 2 weeks and you don't have any bills to pay, guess what? That $500 is all yours. And you're going to go out and buy a whole bunch of your childhood. So never forget that power of that buying power of the age 25 to 30. And you know who that age 25 to 30 right now is? And I'm shaking the camera by hitting on the desk. It's the Beast Wars kids. Don't forget that. Thank you for the question. We got a super chat from the Molly J. And the Molly J wants to know, thank you for the super chat. Do you think we're going to get new product announcements this week given the investors call on the 25th? I've been in those investor calls in the past. Sometimes you don't see any new product, unfortunately. This is mostly due to the TFCon side of things. We would get to see stuff from the investor calls because big websites like Cybertron.ca get to be a piece of that. Sometimes they might mention something in passing. You know what? Let's put it this way. You know what we're probably going to learn from that investors call? We're probably going to learn about that Cyberverse TV series, like the TV movies that are coming up. We're probably going to learn about that. They're probably going to make a mention of the BotBots TV series. They're going to talk about stuff that is going to make investors excited. And investors don't care about individual product. They care about how product is promoted and then sold, which then does well, which then makes them company money, which then makes their investment money. So the cartoons, the TV movies, the Netflix stuff, all the fiction stuff, those are advertising products. So we're probably going to learn more about that with the investors call. And, obviously they're going to say, oh, #1 boys brand, We're going to learn that kind of stuff. But we're not going to probably learn, hey, we're going to get to see what Scorponok or Waspinator's Kingdom toy looks like. You know what I'm trying to say? Maybe the only one I could say, maybe we might see the Ark. Maybe we might see the Titan class. That's a big product. That's the big centerpiece of the Kingdom line. Maybe we might see something of that. Maybe a teaser, maybe something. But I don't really think we're going to see much else. Again, this is just based from personal experience. Those investor calls in general don't really talk about that kind of stuff because that's not really the interest of the investors. And people who who are people who own stock in Hasbro and stuff like that, they're not going hey man, so I checked the stock market and I want to know, so when are we getting that Dinobot toy? They don't really, that's not their MO, so to speak. But thank you for the question, Molly J. I hope that helped answer as best I could. Hey, Proto, do you think we could get multiple Junkions in Studio Series 86? Well, what I think is we're just going to get one Junkion with multiple heads. I think, I mean, look, they could really milk that mold and just do Wreck-Gar and no multiple heads, and then do Junk Heap, and then do Dittrius, and then do, I know I'm forgetting one of them, Scrap Heap. I remember Japanese had a 3-pack at some point. I mean, I could see that, but I don't know. Do they want to do Wreck-Gar as a Voyager and just give a bunch of different heads? Because the rumor is Wreck-Gar is going to be a Voyager. Or do they want to repaint that Voyager over and over, waste a Voyager slot, and give us repaints of a new character every time? Or alternatively, give us a Voyager that is Hasbro Selects, Hasbro Pulse kind of thing. Excuse me, Generation Selects. But we'll see. We shall see. We shall see. It's hard to say with that one. Because if it was a deluxe, I would lean more towards repaints. Because deluxes, there's 4 different deluxes per wave. It's a smaller price point. It's easier to repaint like crazy. Voyagers and Leaders, the investment is not as smooth. You know, it's like, yeah, we're going to be getting the sweeps. But sweeps are army builders, and they have more notoriety than Junkions. It's a little different, unfortunately. A lot of people in the past bought, you know, sweep army builder stuff. There's a history of that in Transformer product. So it's more something like that. Where are we at here? Where are we at? Transformers 2002. One of my Discord people. Hey, Proto, what are your thoughts on a Transformer series where the characters use their OG names before being changed by by Bob Gansky? So you're trying to say you would like to see a Starscream named Ulkthar, Cliffjumper named Blowout. What was the name of Megatron? I think he had another name. I don't know. I think that would just be silly. A lot of those names were pretty. There's a reason why those were working names or prototype names and not the final names, and why Bob didn't go with them in the end, or Hasbro. They weren't very good names. They weren't very good names. Proto, what do you think of the alternate destiny for the Ark? Funny thing you mentioned. Opening all this new package. Let me just reach for it. All the new toys. I got a whole bunch of these cards. So far, the only one I'm missing of the Wave 1 cards, I'm missing the Dinobot card. I have the Optimus, I have the Ark, and I have the Black Arachnia. So I hope to in the future, maybe I'll open up the Voyagers or something, and I'll get me a nice Dinobot card and get the full set of them. The Dark Ark, I don't know. I don't know what the story is with that. Maybe it's something we'll see in the Netflix series. Not much that we could read into a piece of art from the Peel to Reveal Destiny cards, the Golden Disc Destiny cards. If they do more than one Wreck-Gar head with Wreck-Gar, the folks will buy more Voyager bots. Yeah, but here's the problem. See, the thing is Voyagers are usually in general, Voyagers are 4 per case, and it's 2 of each figure per case. So, like, if it's like there's 2 different Voyager designs, and it's 4 per case, 4 figures in a case, you get 2 of each. Do you want people scalping the hell out of something that's 2 per case? It's going to be really bad. It's going to be really, really bad. And people are not going to be happy about that. So I think that people really shouldn't wish for that, if anything. Where are we at here? Where we at? Hey, Proto, there was a report on TFW 2005 about years ago about said that Hasbro is going to have a creative control in the upcoming Transformer movies. They've always had creative control. What positive do you think that could come from that? They've always had creative control. They've always, at the end of the day, decided what was going to happen. I'm pretty sure when they do scripts, you know, they're the ones that are going in there going like, hey, Optimus can't be like that, or hey, Bumblebee can't be like that. They're part of the process. They always will be part of the process. It's more just, do they have writers that are more creative that could give them some good stories that they could get excited about? The thing is that Hasbro isn't the one to blame for some of the stuff, but at the end of the day, if they're given a script and the script is not that great, but that's all they got, they just roll with it. And I mean, I think I talked about this with Aaron Archer. I know Aaron's in the chat somewhere here. But I mean, as the movies progressed and that first writer's strike happened in 2009, that changed how Transformer stories were going to be told. So that's an unfortunate thing on, you know, the way things are. We got a gold super chat from, and I apologize, Lizard Sphere X. Please tell me I said that right, Lizard Sphere X. He gave a gold super chat. Thank you for that, brother. I'd love it if Hasbro recolored Kingdom figures to homage other mainframe shows. Oh, Lizard Sphere X, you are going down a rabbit hole of my love. Like Black Arachnia as Hexadecimal, Cheetor as Bob, and the fossilizers of Beast Planet minions. Oof. You're talking Shadow Raiders, a.k.a. War Planets. I wish you people could see. I did it once in one of my past streams a while back. I have another room in the house. It's all my like weird 90s toys. And I have tons of Reboot and Shadow Raider stuff. I love mainframe stuff. Maybe it's a Canadian thing. Lizard Sphere X, brother, I would love that. I would love that. I would buy that day one. Day one, 100%. Black Arachnia as Hexadecimal. Man, those colors would look so sick on her. You can and Hexadecimal, because she has like that cape that's all kind of spindly at the back. That could be like the spider legs. Give her that white face paint mask. Oh, man, that would be amazing. Oh, bro, like, seriously, I never thought of that, but now I want it. And anything, look, Shadow Raiders is, without a doubt, probably one of the most beautiful CG series ever made. Totally underrated. You could watch the whole thing on YouTube right now. So go watch it. Amazing series, super fun toys, totally underrated. I'm just a minor. Graveheart, love that stuff, incredible. Lizard Sphere X, you're making me want something that's probably never going to exist, and I'm going to get depressed now. Great question, my friend, and thank you for the gold super chat. Holy moly, Cheetor as Bob. It's kind of funny because Ian Corlett in season 3 of Reboot was Bob's voice actor. He replaced the old voice actor. Man, I would really like that. I'd really like that a lot. Glitch Bob using like chrome silver on some of the characters too. We got another super chat by Stinkfist69, and he wants to know, what are your thoughts on the new Mortal Kombat movie? I'm getting so ready for a rated R gore fest. Looks really good. If I have one complaint, again, it's hard. I have two little things I'd like to say about it from a negative standpoint. Number one, I feel that the trailer gave away way too much. I feel like a lot of the key beats of the movie were given away in the trailer. That's not really a knock against the movie. It's a knock against the people who did the Red Band trailer. Red Band trailer being the rated R trailer. Another knock is this character Cole that could have been Johnny Cage. Why did we not have Johnny Cage? Johnny be bad, man. I want my Johnny Cage. You could have got Chris Evans a la Scott Pilgrim, the Evil X, playing the Johnny Cage. It would have been so amazing. I would have loved Johnny Cage. My favorite character in Mortal Kombat, by the way, is Reptile. I used to play him like crazy in Mortal Kombat 2 back in the day in the arcades, but I'd also main Kitana because Kitana was like broken powerful in Mortal Kombat 2. And then in Mortal Kombat 3, I used to play Smoke, who was an unlockable character. Mortal Kombat Ultimate, I would play Smoke also, a little bit of Ermac, a little bit of Reptile also, but he was kind of low tier. I was a big fighting game arcade kid back in the day, so when you start talking about fighting games, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, the SNK stuff, I could go on for days. I am without a doubt, and I will say this with arrogance, one of the greatest Samurai Showdown 4 players in the world. I challenge anyone. Thank you for the question, brother. We have another gold super chat question from, oh man, Ido20111. Oh, Ido GZR20111. Brother, I wish I could say your name better, but thank you for the gold super chat. And the question is, do you think we will see Star Saber and Victory Wheel and Death Source and Kingdom or MP? I've talked about this in the past, and I posted it on my Twitter a while back. If you look at Double Dealer, Earthrise Double Dealer, the leader class, I posted images of side-by-side of him compared to Death Source, the way that the chest works, his alt mode, which turns into like the eagle slash thing. I feel you could take Double Dealer and retool him and turn him into Death Source. I firmly believe that could be done. Does that mean it's going to happen? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it's just tooling for the future, and it'll be like a Generation Selects Japan Takara Tommy Mall thing, like Super Megatron and the Seacons from Beast Wars 2nd. Who knows? But I feel that one day we will get those characters. The problem with Star Saber, and it's always been a problem with Hasbro, is that frickin' name. Star Saber, Star Wars lightsaber. Ugh. They tried Wing Saber with Energon. They tried Victory Saber. They trademarked it, and they ended up putting out PVCs that got super limited market release for the robot heroes. They wanted to do something with that character. It's a trademark headache. It really is. They'll probably do something at some point. And I love Star Saber. He's one of my favorite Transformer he's in my top 10 of favorite Transformer characters of all time. Anytime there's new Star Saber merchandise, he's such a cool masterpiece. I love that masterpiece. Every time I look at it, it's like, needs a bigger sword though. But otherwise, like, I love that masterpiece. I think we'll get something. I don't think we'll get it in Kingdom, but I do think we'll get something. Desaurus as a masterpiece though, that one's a tough one. Decepticons, bad guys, don't sell as well in the Japanese market with masterpieces as they do the Autobots. So that's a tough one. If we are going to get a Desaurus, my double dealer idea is a lot more of a reality, in my opinion. And I love Transformers Victory. Don't get me wrong. I love it to death. It's one of my favorite series, but it's very tough to see the market warming up to it. What I love is very different than what the market wants, and I've always recognized that when it comes to understanding the logic of the releases. Always has been like that. Always has been. And Victory Leo, that's asking for like 2 leader classes that combine. We haven't seen that in a while. You know, we haven't seen that like since, like, let's see, Robots in Disguise. We had the big leader class Optimus and the big leader class Megatron, God Magnus, God Magnus, aka Ultra Magnus. Those combining. After that, we had, the Supercon, or whatever they called the price point of the leader class during Armada. And then you had the Jetfire that combines, and then, of course, Overlord. And then when they did Energon, there's another leader class, the Fatimus Prime, or whatever you want to call it. But he combined with Supreme class stuff. And then it's the same thing. Like we had Wing Saber was, aka Sonic Bomber, was I want to say an Ultra class that combined with a leader class. So they kind of already reduced the price point with that. And then with Animated, they stopped doing the combiner thing because it wasn't Japanese writing. That's a Japanese writing kind of style. But yeah, again, thank you for the question, man. That's a really good question. There's a lot to discuss with that one. There really is. There's a lot of stuff where in the future we might revisit that for sure. For sure. Next question, is Rodimus justified enough to be a commander class for Kingdom? I think it's not that Rodimus is justified in us. It's more just they're going to put bells and whistles around it to justify it. Look at Hot Rod. Look at Hot Rod as a Voyager in Studio Series 86. They put little things around it to justify that price point. Because at the end of the day, when you put him next to everyone else, he's still a deluxe. But he's a deluxe with a whole bunch of extra stuff. With a matrix of leadership, with energy accessories, with little pieces and stuff. And that's how they justified that higher price point, despite the fact that he's still a deluxe figure in the box. And I think it's going to be the same thing with Rodimus Prime. I think the Kingdom Rodimus Prime, if it is the commander class, as it's been rumored so many times, they're going to put a big emphasis on that trailer. They're going to put a big emphasis on that playset. They're going to put a big emphasis on maybe a Matrix accessory or who knows what. But they're going to do something that the figure itself might even be a Voyager scale robot, but it's going to be all about that playset. Look at Leader Class Optimus Prime from Earthrise. It's all about that trailer that makes it a Leader Class price point. Otherwise, that figure's a Voyager that scales with all your other Voyagers, but you're paying a Leader Class price point because of the trailer. So I think that they're really going to play up that trailer somehow. They're going to have it with the big turret, and they're going to have like little ramps and stuff, and it's probably going to be interactive with the Arc play set. They'll figure out something. And you have to understand too, and this is like jumping really ahead, but historically, every Netflix series up to this point really focuses on the leader class, not the leader, the commander class and the Titan class. So whatever those two are, the first Netflix series, Jetfire was on a focus, and so was Omega Supreme. Then with the second one, we had Scorponok, and we had Skylynx got their focuses and episodes. So you know that Rodimus and the Ark are going to be something involved also in the future Netflix series. So you have to keep that in mind too. Hope that answers your question. Stinkfist69 wants to know, do you collect any 3-0 or Kuru Karai figures? I don't have any of those, of the 3A stuff. 3A stuff is very expensive. It looks super nice. But if I'm going to be buying, like Transformer toys that are like $200, $300, I'd rather buy a masterpiece. I'd rather buy a masterpiece Beast Wars Megatron with that money than a non-transforming movie-looking toy or something like that. They look good, but, when you have a limited budget and where you want to, place it, I really would rather put it in that kind of stuff than non-transformable product. Personally, me. Unless it's a character that hasn't historically gotten a figure. Or will get a figure. But a lot of the 3A stuff will get a figure or has gotten a figure. So, I think that's the short end answer of that one. Proto, perhaps if Hasbro starts slowly including the victory characters in American fiction, we get those unfamiliar with them and but the problem is that's really a, how do I put that? That's a long-term thing with the company that unfortunately everything's being done individually. And what I mean by that is, introduce Starsaber in, let's say, Cyberverse, right? And never give him a Cyberverse character. But the person who introduced Starsaber in Cyberverse saying, we're introducing him here so one day in the future he'll get a toy, I don't think he's going to think like that writer. That's the problem. They're going to put him in this series in the hopes of getting a toy, perhaps, maybe. I don't know. They don't work together. The people who worked on Transformers Prime were different people who worked on Transformers Robots in Disguise 2015, were different people that worked on Cyberverse. And none of them were really helping each other along the way. Same shit happened with Beast Machines. Beast Machines and Beast Wars were two different entities of people. Still was Mainframe, but different writers. We got a super chat question from Vicar and Flips Animation. Check out their stuff, I guess, if they have a YouTube page. Sometimes I think I'm the only guy who genuinely loves Michael Bay Transformer designs. What do you think of them, Proto? I've talked about this in the past. The thing is that Michael Bay's, well, they're not Michael Bay's designs. The Transformer designs that we get from the Michael Bay movies or the live-action movies, people need to understand they're what we call American Mecha. I wish I brought down my Ed 209 figure. Should I walk away, guys? Should I go and get it for visual? Because people hate it when I walk away from the stream to go get something. Should I go get it? Someone tell me. Yes or no? Do you want me to walk away and get the figure so I could show you guys an example of American Mecha? What do you guys want? Because the thing is that the Michael Bay stuff stems from a cultural way that robots have been designed in America. It really is. Do you guys want me to go drink it? Drink it. Go get it. I'll go get it. Hold on. It's in the other room. You can look at the stuff in the meantime in the background. I will be right back. I'm back. Did you miss me? Did you miss me? Did you miss me? I like to have a drink too. Water's good. It's a little dusty. So, this is Ed 209. Anyone that's watched probably one of the greatest movies of all time, RoboCop, Paul Verhoeven, amazing director. This was made, oh God, 1986, guys? 87? And I'm not saying this toy, I'm saying the design. And what do you notice about Ed 209 from a foot kind of design there? It's very like claw-like, very animalistic. This is RoboCop 2, aka Robo Kane. Same thing. Look at the way they do the feet. Look at the way that they do the internal designs, the way the pistons. He almost looks a little bit like Blackout, if anything. And this was 1991, I want to say. 1991. Now, here's the thing. American Mecha. Look at even the feet. Look at that. Look at this. If I just showed you just the feet, and I'd be like, hey, guys, check out my new Blackout figure. You know what I mean? Oh, come on. Focus a little bit. There we go. So, the thing is that Americans, when they do robots, is very different than how Japanese people do robots. The problem is that what we know as Transformers, what we learned in 1984, what we were introduced to, here's Optimus Prime. Here's Optimus Prime, Battle Convoy from Diaclone, an homage throwing back to the RX-78 Gundam from the 70s, from Bandai's Gundam or Poppy at the time. We were used to all these robotic designs that were Japanese infused in design. The way they do feet, the way they do the bodies. Japanese people don't think about the practicality of the design more, they want it to look good. And that's just always how it's been. When Fleer O'Deary took those designs and cleaned them up, it even looked even more like streamlined and nice and everything. You take even something like Hound, you look at his old toy, and then they streamlined it to make it look all nice and everything. We got so used to that design, so used to that aesthetic. And even when we got to Beast Wars, there's that little bit of American aesthetic creeping in there. You look at Cheetor's feet and how it kind of has those claws. And you look at all of that. They were slowly starting to bleed in there a little bit. But then the Japanese came in. And stuff like Big Convoy over there started to have more of that Japanese aesthetic again. And it started to come back. But the American aesthetic is this. And it always has been that. It's always been this more, kind of split, spindly. How does it stand up? It's got to have claw feet because we have feet. We have toes. That's how we stand up. And you look at, someone said here, Battletech and Mech Warrior. I have those figures upstairs too, brother. Very good example of American Mecha. And that's the aesthetic. It doesn't surprise me if American people are making American robots for an American Transformer movie that they're going to look like this. They're going to look like that. So do I hate it? It's really just a choice of preference. Man, this thing has been falling apart. Look at this. It's falling apart, this thing. It's been sitting on my shelf for years. It's really just a matter of preference. It really is something where how do you like your robots to look? I will say this, it was different. If they would have just released a Transformer movie and the designs looked 100% like G1, wouldn't be original. We had something different. I think at the end of the day, is people really want something that looks more like the Japanese aesthetic. I think that's what people, they still want something different, but they want something that has that Japanese infusion. And I think that at the end of the day, is what does it. Matrix movie design is and are American Mecha too. Well, there you go. There you go. Straight from Aaron Archer, who was literally working with Michael Bay when the movies were happening. Japanese bots are samurai armor. There you go. But that's the reality of it. So it really is a choice of aesthetic. Me personally, okay, here's the thing. Being raised in Quebec had a lot of influence from anime. A lot of the cartoons I grew up with were Japanese anime because I watched French shows and I watched English shows. When I turned on English cartoons, it was Transformers, He-Man, Gem and the Holograms, G.I. Joe, all these 80 cartoons. But when I watched French television, it was anime. I watched Dragon Ball long before it was brought over. I was reading Dragon Ball mangas in the 80s in French. And I was influenced by Japanese culture and Japanese anime by watching French television. Ask any French person like who Galdarak is or UFO Grandizer and stuff like that. It's a huge influence there. See, and then Aaron Archer again, Pacific Rim is closer to the Japanese style. And that's Del Toro who loves that Japanese aesthetic, that's what he loves. People who love Alex Milne's art. Alex Milne draws his Transformers because he loves Gundam and he loves that aesthetic. And that's just it. That's how it is. It really has to do with what kind of robotic aesthetic you enjoy. And there's different kinds of robotic aesthetic. There's the power armor kind of stuff that you see from Mech Warrior and what's it called there? Exo Squad. There's so many. So it really dives into a personal taste and preference and what you grew up with. And combined with the fact that the movies are going to look like that because of who the French love Inspector Gadget. Eh ben oui, Inspector Gadget, which was Deke Entertainment with Jean Chalapon, who is a French creator. So doesn't surprise me with Inspector Gadget. I don't even want to get into that. You're making me go down the rabbit hole with that stuff. But the point is that, yeah, it's that Aaron Archer that's in the chat, guys. So praise him that he's here. Aaron's a cool dude. But that's what I'm trying to say. It's just that there's that whole animal that's going on there that you guys have to understand when it comes with it. And that's why I don't hate on the Michael Bay designs, because I know where it's coming from. But me personally, I'll lean more towards what the kind of the Bumblebee movies are doing, just because it's pulling from that Japanese aesthetic that I like. Same thing. Didn't you kind of notice that some of Protoman's favorite Transformer characters come from the Japanese exclusive Transformer series? Because I love the Japanese stuff. It's just, but that's what I like. Doesn't mean it's right. Doesn't mean it's wrong. Doesn't mean that if you like something that you're wrong. It's just what I like personally, And if I would see Hot Rod being done in the movie verse in a different way, it wouldn't have been how it was in The Last Night. It wouldn't have been. He wouldn't have been French, Let's start with that. But that's just it. You know what I mean? That's just how I'm going to call it. At the end of the day. Sorry to go on a rant, but yeah, again, this goes back again. Look at Robo Kane. Look at Robo Kane. It is Blackout. That is where they pull from. That is the designs. Look at good old Ed 209 with his cap fires. Oh, you don't see that anymore with toys. Look at Ed 209's feet. How many Transformer characters have feet like that from the Michael Bay movies? Look at that. Look how dusty this thing is. Oh my goodness. Anyways. Strangely, Zoids is the middle ground of the two. But Aaron, Zoids was a interesting fusion of two different things, because Zoids was originally a toy line it was called something else in Japan. Then it was brought over here as Biozoids or Zoids. They did comics with that. Then it was brought over back to Japan, kind of like Transformers, and turned into Zoids. They created the whole Bible and fiction in relation to that on the Takara side of things. The Tomy side of things. It was Tomy that was doing it. So, Zoids is another weird animal because it's a back and forth of American stuff and Japanese stuff. It's very weird, Zoids. It's very, very weird. And then, of course, you have Robotics, which was the attempt to bring Zoids over here. Crazy stuff. We're getting into a whole different discussion of toys and design and the different companies and how they were packaging the product. And then when it gets brought back there, much like how Transformers was brought back to Japan in 1985, but it wasn't called Diaclone anymore. And then they, it's a whole other animal. I need some water. We have half an hour left, guys, on the stream. Oh, no, wait, hold on. I started later today, didn't I? Okay, we got more time. No, wait, I'm looking at the wrong clock. We only have half an hour left on the stream. Sorry. So we have half an hour left. So get your super chat questions in, guys. And try to wear out Protoman with all the crazy questions that we have tonight. Woo! Woo, woo. I'm telling you. Where are we at here? Hey, Proto, what do you think of a Transformer toy exclusive that turns into a vehicle from the Red Line anime? Oh, man. I love, by the way, the Red Line anime from 2009 is really, really good. My friend got me the DVD years ago, and he was my friend Lee J. Shout out to Lee J. And he's like, bro, you are going to freaking love this movie. And I loved it. But I love racing stuff. I love racing stuff. That's a whole different part of my life during the early 2000s. But yeah, I think that would be cool. But we kind of have that. Some like, some more like American muscle kind of vehicles. There was a mini con called, I think, Oil Slick, I want to say, that came out during the Generations bubble, during those like big 24 mini con packs. Kind of looks like one of the cars from Redline. We got a super chat question from, again, Edge Dogzar 20111. Brother, I want to give you a better name. What's more plausible, Decepticon Warship Nemesis or Tidal Wave? If next year is Unicron Trilogy, Tidal Wave. If next year is more Beast Wars, Nemesis. Just makes sense. Or Nemesis, depending how you want to pronounce it. Thank you, David K., for that weird pronunciation. Just because if it's Unicron Trilogy stuff, obviously a nice Titan class Tidal Wave would make more sense. But if you do more Beast Wars, you're leaning more towards Season 3. Spoiler! More Season 3 Decepticon Warship Nemesis kind of stuff going on. Which would be cool if it turns into like Trypticon, if they somehow bring it all back around to like the video games from Activision. That'd be really cool. But I was hearing rumors, and I can't confirm it, that they want to discontinue the Titan class and have it be 2 commanders instead. But that was a rumor I read somewhere, and nothing was confirmed. So don't quote me on it. Take it, lock it up, put it in the back of your brain, and decide later on if you want to like put any weight in that. Hey Proto, what Cyberverse figure do you want the most? I'd love Leader Astrotrain. If you mean by Cyberverse figure that I want the most that hasn't had a figure yet, how about a deluxe class Windblade? She's practically the star of the show, and she didn't even get a decent figure. She has the one. Let me just reach for it. I still have it sealed because I'm waiting for the day when we get a deluxe, and then I could just sell this sealed. This is the best Cyberverse Windblade figure right now, unfortunately. It's brutal. It's brutal. Where is the deluxes for this line? If you don't count Windblade, Shadow Striker. Where's her good toy? Where's her good toy? She has 2 crappy, one oversized Ultra class that doesn't scale with anything, and one little Legends class or Legion that doesn't even transform properly. So I'll go with those. Oil Slick is the green Ratchet repaint, which is I don't want to have to go get up again because it's one of the muscle cars, one of the Mustang looking vehicles from those Minicon repaints. I don't remember. Proto, have you heard of the Japanese game Dream Fighter Mix TV World Fighters? Yes, I have. I actually talked about it in my panel at TFCon in 2010, Transformers in Video Game History. Found on Vangelis's channel if you check it out. The game had Optimus and Megatron as guest characters. Oh, it had more than that, my friend. It had repaints of all of those characters. So you could have Megaplex, you could have Powered Convoy, you could have Ultra Magnus, you could have Gold Convoy. It had Devastator in the background. There was a whole bunch of Transformer stuff going on. It had Michi-chan, which is the doll line from Takara. A lot of cool stuff. It had Bomberman. It had Tai from Beyblade, not Tai. Taiko, which was called, what was it, Tyson from Beyblade, from the original series. A lot of cool stuff going on there. Hey, Proto, I've noticed rumors of Stepper and a fire truck guy. That'd be cool if we would get Art Fire. We have that Inferno mold. Be cool. Maybe. We'll see what happens. Next Beast Wars MP, in your opinion? Rhinox. Finish the Maximals. Finish the Season 1 Maximals. Probably Rhinox. If they're going to do... See, I don't think they'd want to do a Predacon. Because they got Black Arachnia, they got Megatron. I mean, who do you do next? Waspinator? Pterosaur? I mean, I'd love Pterosaur, but who would you rationally do next? I think Rhinox would be the next smart move. Rhinox, and if not Rhinox, then right away you jump to the metals. And then you go Transmetal 1 Optimus Primal, Transmetal 1 Megatron. Just because those will sell well. Those will sell well for sure. 100%. Hey, Proto, who would you repaint or retool from Siege Hound? What was a good one that someone said once that was really good? There was a really good one. Someone suggested. Well, obviously you could do the Junkion repaint. That's the obvious one. But there was another really good one that someone suggested, and I forget what it was. I think it was Roll Bar, done in like the alternator colors. Oh no, you can't see it. The alternator colors over there of Roll Bar. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of weird ones you could do with it. I think that we got lucky with that Hot Shot repaint though. That was pretty cool. Hey Proto, how were the figures you got last week? I thought they were amazing. Go on my Twitter, at PROTOMAN on Twitter. I did little photo shoots of everything. The only one I haven't opened yet is the Bumblebee from Netflix. So I haven't opened that one yet. And again, shout out to Jason W. He hooked me up, man, with all of those. So I'm going to open up that Bumblebee, and I'm going to try to do some cool photo shoot with that. And then again, shout out to Michael Falco. He hooked me up this one in the mail. So I'll probably do a photo shoot of that too at some point. And do some cool stuff. Yeah, Swindle's another one too. You could do a Swindle, I guess. It would be a non-combining Swindle. Maybe give some extras. You could do a Swindle, but do it like how Animated was, where he really is his own character and not tied to being a combiner or anything. That's one way to do it. John Eastman wants to know with the super chat question. Again, thank you, John. Thanks for keeping the brand alive and well. Well, I can't be thanked for all of that. Do you buy most of the new mainline TFs? If not, how do you decide? Do you tell Hasbro what you like? No, John. First of all, I don't buy everything primarily because I would be broke. I used to. Back in the day, John, I used to just, when I still lived with my parents, I would get that paycheck working at Burger King. This is like way back in the day. We're talking like 10, 15 years ago. And I'd just blow it all. I'd blow, the latest wave of Energon toys, $400. Gone. There goes that paycheck. You know? But nowadays, I'm much more frugal. I try, look, the beauty is there's a lot of repeats. There's a lot of characters that I kind of already own good versions of them. So I don't really go out of my way to pick them up. I mean, Jason W., who hooked me up with all the case of stuff last week, there was some stuff in there that probably I would have waited for sales otherwise, like Cheetor probably would have been one of them. But in general, I kind of get figures that I'm excited about. Like the Core Class Bumblebee I was really excited about, so that's something I would have gone out of my way to get. The Black Arachnia, just because even though I have the Masterpiece, I really wanted to compare and see how much engineering was involved there. There's certain ones that excite me, and there's certain ones that, dare I say, I could live without. There's a lot of stuff that I'm trying to think of some, like a lot of weird repaints that just, at the end of the day, if I didn't get it, it wouldn't make a difference. Do you tell Hasbro what you like? I think we all tell Hasbro what we like in some shape or form. Hasbro always is listening. They pay attention to social media. Never forget that. They always do. But at the end of the day, trust me, if what I liked influenced what would happen with Transformers, I don't think the brand would be in a healthy place. What I like and what makes sense is two different things. And I recognize that. And if they ever gave me the helm of the brand, don't worry, I'll make the right decisions. Because what I like is definitely not going to be up there for sure. Is there an error version of Elita 1 where the shoulders are on backwards, flat metal pin heads? Did you get that? I don't know. Do I have the error version? Is that the error version? My friend, Dreamer Root here. Oh my god, I'm so bad. Dreamer out there. Oh, it's Dreamer out there. Thank you for the super chat, by the way, Dreamer out there. I don't know, is that the error version? I don't know. I would have never seen this locally because the Netflix stuff. Ooh, come on, there we go. I would have never seen any of that locally here. How did your parents feel about that? I have a father who's a toy collector. So, needless to say, my dad had no problem with me collecting toys when he has just as much a big room as a toy collector. Go on YouTube, type PROTOMAN Father's Day Special. I think it's something like that. I did an interview with my dad with his toy collection, and then you'll understand what's going on here and where it came from over there. So my parents were always very supportive of the toy collecting, because at the end of the day, I was a toy collector, but I still was dating. I still had a good job. You know, I could be smoking and doing drugs. That could be worse things. You know what I mean? Where are we at here? Hey, Proto, have you seen any of the Ben 10 shows? Unfortunately not, and I've been told that when Derek Wyatt of Transformers Animated took over, he put a lot of cool little Transformer nods in the background and stuff. So I was told if you like Transformers, watch the Derek Wyatt designed season, because there's a lot of cool Transformer stuff there, and other stuff too, other like TV series. He put a lot of little nods in the background and stuff, and supposedly Judd Nelson did some of the voice acting for it too. So you get a little G1 hot rod also in the process. But I've not seen much of Ben 10. Hey Proto, do you think we could get Action Master Treadshot? Well, maybe maybe with what Super 7's doing might one day. I think so. I mean, we got, hold on a second, you're reminding me of something. Didn't we get one from the club? Did we get a Treadshot? See, now you're making me get up. Yeah, didn't we get Treadshot? Yeah, we did. We got Treadshot from the Generations Warpath. So sure, why not? Why not? Maybe they'll do it again. They got to use that trademark somehow. I'd have to look up Treadshot's trademark, see what its situation is. Stinkfist is okay for the Bumblebee. It's okay. Jason W. hooked me up with that one. Shout out to Jason. So you don't have to hook me up with that. That's cool, brother. Thanks for the offer. But he hooked me up with that. Slowly I'm getting stuff. A lot of fans have been sending me some cool stuff in the mail, and I'm so grateful for all of that. It saves me a lot of trouble, especially in the craziness of the big V world that we live in today. But don't worry about it, brother. Don't worry about it. Thanks again for the offer, though. Thank you. Hey, Proto. Hasbro has shown Cyberverse no love with toys or promoting the show. Any idea why they're continuing it without a better show getting cut short soon? I don't know. Well, that's where it goes again. I'm curious with that investor meeting that's coming up on the 25th. What they're just doing with that brand. I feel that they just ignored Cyberverse in a lot of ways. I really do. I feel that the like, considering that's supposed to be your primary advertising tool on television, it's a shame. Aaron Archer's out of here. Till all are one again. Archer out. See you later, Aaron. Take care, brother. Thanks for swinging by. Take care of the kids in this crazy world, my friend. How do you know when Transformer character trademarks expire? Well, I have access to the patent trademark through a through a background entrance through Hasbro still. So that's how I'm able to see what's registered, what isn't. You could technically, if you go to the U.S. Patent Office, there is ways that you could do requests to get the full printouts on when something is trademarked, when is it registered, when is it going to expire, when is it 6-month rollover. You could request that stuff. So, but there is web ways to do it, but you have to be part of a company and a registered business, and that's a whole other complicated thing. I have that access, so that's how, when I do a lot of my trademark videos, I do the due diligence and do the research first to make sure those numbers match up and everything. But again, I have to look into, like, say, the Treadshot question initially. I'd have to look into it, because that one I don't know offhand. Hey, Pro, do you think Hasbro will ever do Generations versions of Master Force? I wish. Should I just go after Fans Hobby toys? I think the Fans Hobby toys look amazing, and what's even more amazing about those Fans Hobby toys, and again, I'm not sponsored by them. They never sent me anything, so don't take it as a push. I think their stuff is extremely cheap for what you're getting. You know, it's very, very priced, very affordably. So I think they look great. And if you want to get probably the best looking version of Minerva, Cab, and Go Shooter, it's probably going to be those three for sure, until something better comes along. It's just me personally going like, man, when are they going to do a Minerva? I don't know. I really don't know. It'd have to be like a Jazz repaint or something, because it has to be a Porsche, but it has to be like a Porsche 911, but to have the female body type, I don't know. It's very tough. They pulled it off. So I'd lean more towards what they did, if anything else. But thank you for the question. Where are we at here? Hey, Proto, yes, you have the error version. Because of that, the shoulders won't rise up 100%. There are grooves in the shoulder, and there's an error that doesn't line up. Oh, well. But she transforms, right? You know what's funny? It shows that I have the error version, right? Because it has those pins. But on the back of the box, isn't that like the error version too? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Whatever. Either way, I'm just happy to have a proper Alita 1 figure, kind of really more in the vein of how she looked in Secret of Alpha Trion. So I'm just happy to have it. Hey, Protoman, do you think we'll get Beast Wars Transmetal Dragon Megatron in Leader Commander class? I think that's a little too early to tell. I think that, because that's like a Season 3 character, I think we'll probably need to go like 1 or 2 series before we get to that. I think that, like, let's talk Season 2 stuff and finishing Season 1 stuff before we look at Season 3 stuff. There's a great third-party one that's kicking around if you want that one. It's going to cost you a pretty penny, but it's a really good one. And it has a good Cryotech repaint, too. Thanks, Proto. Was just wondering if they do a Jazz Studio Series 66, Studio Series 86 Jazz repaint. Well, they could do Stepper, the black repaint. They could do gold and do the gold Jazz from Golden Lagoon. They could do the Ricochet colors from Shattered Glass, I guess, which is like the brown colors and stuff like that they did with Bakan. What other colors could you do with Jazz? Not much else, really. You could do his G2 colors, I guess, which are like different tinges. Not much else you could do with that one. Not much else, unfortunately. We got 15 minutes left, my friends. So 15 minutes left for super chats and everything like that. And then we're going to call it a day. Hey, Proto, would you like an update of the Viacon Generals? Well, we got a really good Tankor not too long ago from Generations. I'd really like Obsidian. I want a good Obsidian because I wasn't, no offense to Bakan, I wasn't really happy with that update, the Obsidian they did. So I'd really like that. Same thing with Strika. Really good Strika update would be cool. Like those two especially. Jetstorm, I feel, got a good toy quite a few times. Again, going back to Tankor. Tankor got a really good toy not too long ago. So I think it's the 2 new Season 2 Generals that would have been really cool to get. Even Thrust. Thrust, I feel, wasn't too bad because we got that Viacon mini Thrust. That wasn't too bad. Proto, do you think the Big Buff Bodybuilder Alita 1 from... What do you think of the Big Buff Bodybuilder Alita 1 from Power of the Primes? I have her. She's going to be part of that photo shoot. I have every Alita 1 figure ever made. Even the BotCon stuff, the statues, I got all that stuff. So get ready for that photo shoot. I liked it. It looked cool. My one negative I had with it, I didn't like the stickers. The stickers on the wings, because when you articulate the wings, the stickers clip with the grooves of the wings. So I hate that. But it's a good figure otherwise. Good figure, nice. She's buff. Amazonas. She looks cool. This is how G1 Megatron is incorporated in Studio Series 86. Make him a Voyager that transforms into a small tank that is accurate to his G1 robot mode. Well, that's kind of what they're doing with Earthrise. So, I mean, that's in a lot of ways, Mr. No Name. That's kind of what it is at the end of the day. That's what they did. I think we'll get a Studio Series Ultra Magnus 86. Again, that's what I kind of think Kingdom put a lot of Studio Series flavored kind of stuff in there. I mean, we're not going to argue that, you know, we have Scourge as a Voyager in Studio Series 86, and then we have we have Cyclonus as a Voyager in Kingdom, and it's not a coincidence that those two halves of the whole are on opposite sides of the lines. So we'll see what happens. But I think we already got our Studio Series 86 Magnus. Even though it's not super accurate, it's probably as good as it's going to get for now. Hey, Proto, off topic, but which Jaeger from Pacific Rim 1 is your favorite and why? Ooh, boy, I don't know the names. I'm ashamed to say I only watched that movie once, and I really liked it, and I went and I bought the DVD set that has like, it's like a cool DVD box that's like the Jaeger's body and stuff, and I never opened it and watched it. You know what, Matthew? Save that question for next week. I'm going to rewatch the movie again. I'm going to rewatch it. Now you're making me, like, the same thing with Aaron Archer talking about the movie too. I think I'm going to rewatch it again. Save that question for next week. Bug me and we'll answer it again. We have a super chat from EdDogDurs211111. I'm going to call you Awesome Guy because you super chat so much. And I love people who super chat because that shows that they love what I do here. I sit here for 2 hours grinding out the Transformer awesomeness with some cool Hasbro people in the chat. And you ask, Ergdar2111, do you see an update to Blitzwing from in Siege? Well, Blitzwing had... You know what's funny? Because I actually had a conversation with Jason not too long ago about this. We had the Generations Thrilling 30 Blitzwing, and that aesthetic and design, even though it was a Generations toy, really pulled a lot from Transformers Animated. He had like the different faces, and he had the more sleeker kind of body, like the Derek Wyatt design. And then when we got, I believe it was Power of the Primes, Power of the Primes was the one that had the Blitzwing, right? That one was very Generation 1 inspired. It was a lot more buff, a lot more square and stuff like that. And it's something that I feel that one did a really good job. And I feel that if they're going to revisit any of those triple changers again, they're going to want to do it as a trio. Like, if you're going to do Blitzwing again from G1, people are going to want Astro Train again, and people are going to want Octane again. So I don't really think they'll update him anytime soon unless there's plans to do the three of them. You know what I mean? That's what and again, I really like, I guess it was Power of the Primes. Was it Combiner Wars? No, it wasn't Combiner Wars, was it? It was Titan Returns. Thank you. Oh, it's true, because it had the Titan's Return gimmick. That's right. I have all three of them. I'm looking at them right now. I just... sometimes they all merge together. Thank you, people. But that's how I feel. That's how I think, really. Hey, Proto, do you watch Ruby? And I know how it's pronounced Ruby. My friend Lee J loves that series. I've never seen Ruby. But he swears by it. He absolutely loves that series. Shout out to Lee J again if you're watching. He pops in sometimes. Hey, Proto, would Jetstorm be a good Seeker repaint or retool? See, he has those wings, though. They're the other way. So I don't know. It's one of those things. It's like if you had Starscream from Transformers Animated, where he had the wings that were forward, those Seeker jets, yeah, that would make more sense. Jetstorm has a very unique design. I wouldn't want him to be a repaint of a Seeker. I'd want him to be his own thing. I really would. I love Jetstorm. Cool character, great voice actor. Gotta catch 'em all, as he would say. Hey, Brody, do you think we'll get the Nemesis to go with the Arc? Well, to say it goes with the Arc would mean it would come out the same year. Assuming we get Titans. Assuming we do more Beast Wars. Assuming that that's the direction they want to go with. It would be cool just to have one and the other together. But I don't know what Hasbro really wants to do into 2022, 2023 yet. It's still way too early to tell. Where is it here? Here we go. Would you reckon Amazon exclusives would be re-released en masse? No, it's never going to happen. Historically, unfortunately, Brian, Amazon exclusives, they end up being Amazon exclusives, and if they ever get re-released, they're re-released again as Amazon exclusives. So that's why so many times when those exclusives came out, they get bought up right away and they sell out, and then they do so great on the secondary market because they're difficult to get. Amazon has a contractual agreement with Hasbro that they won't be in retail, and that's that. Unfortunately, come on down, Auto Brats. I love that line. We got 7 minutes left, people. Get in the super chats as soon as possible. And then we're going to enjoy the rest of the night. I have a suggestion for everyone. Go watch Shadow Raiders on YouTube. Very good series. Very good. Fun to enjoy. Very good. I will go watch Pacific Rim to refresh my memory later. I'll probably do it tomorrow. Got a busy day tonight. But yeah. What Autobots or Decepticons would you see as mercenaries more than their current faction? Good example, Swindle is more of a merc than a con. I totally agree about the Swindle one. Swindle has always been one of those characters that has been right down the middle. There was a rule with the original Generation 1 cartoon. If you have blue eyes, you're an Autobot. If you have red eyes, you're a Decepticon. If you have yellow eyes or anything else, you're some kind of weird in between. Shockwave, weird kind of thing going on there. What do you call it? The Predacons all have yellow eyes. They were a co-creation of the Quintessons with the Decepticons together, all the Predacons, Predaking and stuff. And Swindle had purple eyes. Everyone else had red eyes in Decepticons. He had purple because he was on the fence. He was a merc, and you didn't even know it all the way back in 1985. But who would be one on the Autobots? I'd say Devcon. He was the bounty hunter mercenary kind of thing. He only appeared in one episode, but I'd say Devcon for sure. And he's a cool, underrated character. Doesn't get enough love. Needs a good toy, too. I'll go with Devcon for sure. I remember Shadow Raiders after I looked it up. Must rewatch. Great series, Chad, I'm telling you. And it's all over YouTube. You can watch it all. Great series. Super underrated. And if you love like Unicron and the Beast Planet and all that stuff, so well done. And the CG is still pretty good even up to today. That's why I'm upset when Amazon canceled my order. Bro, you should have saw my tweet. I was cussing Amazon so bad that Twitter should have like banned me or something. I was so angry because I was looking forward to those MicroMasters so bad. Luckily, again, a fan saw my rant and hooked me up. But, oh, man, it was brutal. It was brutal. It was really, really bad. All right, we got 4 minutes left, people, and then we're calling it a night. Motormaster had purple eyes. Yeah, that's true, eh? Maybe because he was a clone of Optimus Prime. That's why they're so similar. We don't really have Motormaster's history. That's true. That is true. But yeah, it's been a crazy week. It's been a crazy, crazy week. Not a lot of news. I'm surprised how quiet the news was. Oh, I also want to show guys. I actually picked these up too, kind of unrelated, only because they finally shipped and they came in the mail. The Dragon Ball, they're not in the package. This is the Dragon Ball SH Figure Arts. This is the proud Namekian Piccolo. Piccolo's always been my favorite character in Dragon Ball. And my favorite baddie in Dragon Ball is Captain Ginyu. So these finally shipped to me. I had these on pre-order, felt like forever, from Big Bad Toy Store. So those were pretty cool. Got to open those up. Hey, Proto, would you reckon Amazon exclusives would be reissued mass release? I already said, brother. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, unfortunately. Oh, we got one from the Molly J. The Molly J asking the super chat in the clinch. Thank you, Molly. With the push to get more fembots into fiction, we'll see more new characters or gender flips like Cyberverse. Well, personally me. Well, I don't mind the gender flips. Some of them are cool. Like, what was it? What was the Strika? Not the Strika. The Lugnut one. What was it called? Oh my God. I own the toy too. It just escaped my head. But so, like, I don't mind the gender flip stuff. Same thing like what they did with Skywarp in general. But personally me, from a brand standpoint, right? Like, let's say you gender flip Skywarp, right? And then that character really finds its way in the show and really becomes popular. Now you have all this brand synergy of Skywarp's past as a male character, gucking it up and confusing things, that it's better, in my opinion, to, instead of doing gender swaps, to just clobber. Thank you guys, by the way. I don't know why. I love that figure too. It's the only like Energon armor I own. Like Clobber's a good example. And again, they were smart because it looks like why do I keep saying Strika? It looks like Lugnut. It really looks like Lugnut, but they still gave it a new name and kind of made it a different character. And I feel that that's kind of the best way to go about it. Is I'm not big on the gender swap thing, only because it, from a brand standpoint, like you're gonna have people that are like new to the brand go, oh, I really like Skywarp. What a great female character. Let's look at his history. What the fuck is going? Like, so to me, make a new female character. I love, like I mentioned before at the beginning of the stream, I loved Strong Arm. Strong Arm was like this new idea, and Strong Arm, from a trademark standpoint, was an Energon toy. Like, no freaking joke. There's Strong Arm. Where is it? There's Strong Arm. It was a Omnicon Energon toy way back in the day. But that was like a nobody character that no one cared about, and it wasn't even called Strong Arm in the original Japanese version. So they took that trademark, put it on the female character, and she ran with it and killed it, and it was amazing. And to me, that's what I want. I want more OG, brand new female characters. That's what I want to see more than anything, because there's so much fun that could be done. Look, Windblade was a brand new female character. Nautica was a brand new female character. Nickel was a brand new female character. Give me more new female characters. We don't need to make someone's a female Optimus Prime. We don't need to make a female Optimus Prime. Make a female leader character. You don't need a female Optimus. Make a cool, awesome female leader character. Oh, gee, I don't know. You know, like to me, it's better to make something new. I like new. Look, Black Arachnia was a new female character. Air was a new female character. I love those characters. Give me new. Give me new. Give me something fresh. Give me something I could be excited about. That way that character could forge her own path, her own history, and it could start with that series. By gender swapping, you muck things up. You confuse the trademark. You confuse the history. It's not the best way to go about it. You want to blaze a path. You don't want to have to rest on the laurels of something that has existed before. You know? That's how I feel. Look, Alita Prime. Yeah, you could call her Alita Prime when she actually becomes a Prime. You know? Gets the matrix of leadership. Yeah, look, the Strong Arm name has been used in other stuff, but it didn't really resonate. It wasn't a strong IP. It's been around. Strong Arm was a mini-con, even before all that. The first ever Strong Arm that was actually police-based was a little mini-con that came in a 24-pack or a 12-pack, way back in like 2009. Like, easily 6 years before Strong Arm, the female character, debuted. There's been a lot of them, but you can't tell me that those were amazing characters that had some kind of critical role. But gender swapping Skywarp, when Skywarp has this huge lineage of Transformer history, that's a little more different. You know, that's a little more different. Gender swapping Optimus Prime or Hot Rod or any of those, I look at it from a business standpoint, where when you have a boring IP, like let me think of something that's middle of the road. Like, let me think of, Oil Slick, right? There's not a lot to go with Oil Slick. He had his animated appearance. There's a little this and that. If they took Oil Slick and all of a sudden it was a female character and it really found itself as a female character and was like next level, people would be down for that. People would really be down for that because you're not really stepping on any kind of major hollow ground. How dare they, gender swap Oil Slick, this amazing character from Transformers lore. What was he, like in one episode of Animated and used the Cosmic Rust on Hot Rod and then was in the Allspark Almanac and then I think he was in the comics too. So it's like there's a whole bunch of like business kind of acumen that you got to apply mixed with lore acumen, mixed with just, wouldn't you want something that's awesome, that's also an original creation, and then you could be proud of being there when it started, as opposed to, again, looking at the past and just sitting on it, Gender swap RC. Why would you want to gender swap RC to a man after? Like, why would you want to do that? There's not many pink male Transformer characters. But, I mean, again, it's even the other way around. Female skids. Or, like, who would want to take Chromia and now turn it into a guy? Why would you want to do that? Wouldn't you already want to just have a character that's like Chromia, who's its own character? It's silly, that kind of stuff. That's just my opinion personally. Like, instead of doing like a female Shockwave, wouldn't you rather do a mad scientist female Decepticon character that's her own thing? Wouldn't you like that more? She could also have a mono eye. She could also probably have some kind of a purplish color scheme, but kind of have her own unique design, her own name, her own IP, her own trademark. And then what if the fans love her? And then she could practically be a breakaway character. In the same way that, like, Ravage is not always tied to Soundwave. He could be his own thing, too. Oh, man, I think we went over on that question. I'm going to take one more super chat. But again, thank you, Molly, for everyone else. I'm going to take one more super chat question, and then we're calling it quits for tonight. And the last question we got from is edogs211, bro. And is it, why didn't we get original Machine Wars series as a cartoon? Here's the truth. Machine Wars only existed for two reasons. Two reasons only. A mistake and trademark reasons. In BotCon 1996, Hasbro was doing a panel at BotCon 96, and they said that they were going to be making vehicle-based stuff in the future with Transformers to go back to that on top of the Beast Wars stuff. It was kind of, and the fans were really excited about that, and they were like, oh wait, we weren't planning anything. Combined with the fact that during Beast Wars, they realized, oh my god, we haven't used the Optimus Prime trademark. We used Optimus Primal, we didn't use Optimus Prime, we didn't use Thundercracker, we didn't use Skywarp, we didn't use Starscream, we didn't use Hoist, we didn't use Mirage, we didn't use Sandstorm. All of these trademarks that had been sitting on for years, and they were going to expire, and they had no plans to use them for the Transmetal product and moving forward. They had to stick it somewhere. They took some old molds that were sitting around, some unreleased molds, some UK molds, slap them together. Here you go, KB Toys. The rest is history. No plans for a comic, no plans for a cartoon. It was a trademark-saving toy line, stuff that we still see today, to this very day. Hey, what is this, Tiny Titans line? Why doesn't it have a TV show? Hey, this Tiny Turbo Changers, or Creo, or Bot Shots. Why does, or Bot Bots, although Bot Bots isn't really for saving trademarks. But that's really what it is at the end of the day. It was just to save trademarks. That's all it was. And it didn't do very well. I love the Machine Wars line. It's easily the easiest Transformer line to collect because it's only 12 figures? It's a fun little line. There's some GPS, unfortunately, with Thundercracker, so be careful with that if you buy him. Everyone else is fine, though. Great, fun little line, but it existed for a very shallow, specific reason at the end of the day. And that's the last question of the day. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I once again want to give a shout-out to Symbiote Studios and all their stuff that they're doing. They sponsor the channel. They sponsor the podcast. SymbioteStudios.com. Check them out. Wave 1 is going to be retiring soon. Be sure to pick up their Wave 1 Transformer stuff and get hyped for their Wave 2 stuff that will be coming. SymbioteStudios.com. They give us our shirts, sexy shirts, and they give us our pins, and they give us our plush. And plush that sometimes that comes with pins. So check them out. Thank you all for coming. If you want to support the podcast, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/PROTOMAN. Come join us on the Patreon. We have a cool Discord where we all hang out and talk Transformers. I share Transformer deals, rare lore. We talk about stuff. A lot of the news also breaks on our Patreon. A lot of cool stuff that people that hang out in the chat too are also from the Patreon and the Discord. Check that stuff out. Thanks everyone for coming. We ran a little over, but I guess it was worth it in the end. Thanks for all the love and support. Check out all the other segments that I shot this week. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share our segment. I've been posting a little bit on Reddit, actually, recently to kind of just let people know that we exist. But thanks again, everyone, for coming out, enjoying the podcast, supporting everything that we do. And as always, like I say, roll out.